Hi, this is Derek Regensberger, and welcome to another episode of the Clarinet Connection, your source for gear and product reviews and practice and performance tips for the clarinet. In today's episode, we're going to cover tip 14 in 24 tips for better clarinet playing. In this particular episode, I'm going to look at breathing and breath control. One of the most important things as a clarinet player is you want to be able to control the sound with your breathing. You want to have good breath control because you want to be able to play all the way through a phrase without having to take breaths in between. And secondly, you want to be able to play through phrases even at very low dynamic levels. And so one of the keys to breathing is you want to, you're often told, breathe from the diaphragm. But I think it's more than that. You can really assess your breathing by placing one hand on your diaphragm and your other hand up on your chest. And you breathe from your diaphragm first, but then you let your full chest fill up high as well. So something like this. And you can, as you do this, feel first your lower hand expand outwards and then your upper hand expand outwards. But another key to breath control is where you kind of put the pressure from to release the air. And that's going to come from not necessarily down here at the diaphragm, but more kind of right at your breastplate, kind of where my microphone's sitting. So I'm going to take another deep breath in. And then I'm going to kind of expel from about this point. And that's really going to allow me to expunge all the air from my lungs. If I breathe just expel from my diaphragm, I'm still going to have a lot of air left up here. And so putting that kind of focus more on your breastplate is really going to help you fully expel all the air from your lungs. One of the good ways to practice breathing is to inhale for 2, hold for 2, and play out for 4, something like this. And that really teaches you to kind of hold that breath and then really focus on exhaling as you play the instrument. A great exercise to do that's been given to me by one of my teachers, Danny Goldman, is a phrasing study that was originally developed by Ricardo Morales. And essentially it's just a chromatic variation of 5 simple notes, and you play the same rhythm very slowly each time. And the idea is to really find the extremes of your dynamic range, both really up high, but as well down low. So when you're in that pianissimo range, that you almost let the sound just die away. It's really an exercise that forces you to focus on that. And so you just let the last note die off like that. And then each exercise just goes up by a half a step. You can see it's really a very intense exercise because you're literally out of breath by the time you've kind of let that last note die out. So if you can do each phrase in one breath, it's really a good exercise in teaching you how to build up that breath support. Another exercise I think that's really important to developing breath support is something known as stop tonguing. During stop tonguing, you're going to be blowing air while your tongue is on the reed, even though there's no sound coming from your instrument. So because of that, the pressure that's building up, because it's not coming out of your instrument, is pretty intense. And the idea is that you want to have that kind of constant stream of air and you're not letting your tonguing get in the way. it's once you do this that you really get the idea that because you're having to constantly, hold that air support, it can become pretty tiring just after a few notes. So the goal is to kind of, again, build up that endurance and really focus on providing a strong stream of air even while playing staccato. And you can see that the sound is created as you release your tongue from the reed, not by placing your tongue onto the reed. And so I think it's kind of an interesting way of thinking about playing the clarinet. So let's take that breath control now and see if we can really apply it to some softer passages. Here's the opening solo from the Tchaikovsky Fifth Symphony. And so even at very soft volumes, my sound can still carry because I'm playing with still a high intensity of air. And I think that's the key to playing softly on clarinet. All right, thanks for watching another episode of the Clarinet Connection, and tune in next time for another episode.